Good morning, everyone. I hope that you all had a good night's rest and you're ready for this morning's activities. We're going to start this morning with our judge advocate, Harvey's here, to discuss the bylaw changes that were approved in the bylaw committee meeting. Harvey?
Thank you, Commander. And as you know, nothing could be finer than to hear from Harvey Weiner in the morning. I'd sing that if I could sing. Before I go into the Constitutional and Bylaws Committee report, I want to give you a brief report as National Judge Advocate. I've been doing this every year, even though it's kind of an unofficial report, because I really want to elevate the visibility of the National Judge Advocate in this organization. National Judge Advocate do a heck of a lot of work, and it's usually behind the scenes, but you really need to know it. Okay, I am Harvey Weiner, National Judge Advocate. I'm of Newton Brookline Post 211. I've now completed 6 years as National Judge Advocate, and as I leave the position, I'd like to say a few words about this challenging and interesting job. First, this may surprise some of you, the National Judge Advocate is not the attorney for the individual JWV member, or for posts, or departments, or council. The National Judge Advocate is the attorney for the national organization. Many of our members don't know this and think the National Judge Advocate is their attorney. Each post, department, and council, I'm not sure about council, has their own judge advocate. Use them. They're the ones you should talk to. Secondly, the National Judge Advocate can be a player within the JWV by initiating programs. I initiated the Wills for Veterans program within Massachusetts, and I have templates for this if anybody would email me. Also, I'm involved in veterans mediation programs, and I have a syllabus that I would be glad to give out to anyone. I gave out one yesterday to Jerry from Florida. Talk to me. Another initiative as National Judge Advocate, I hope that the SARL, the Volunteers for Israel program, which Barry Lashinsky and Nelson Melitz have the initiative on this, can be part of a JW trip to Israel for some of you. We're going to have a JWV trip, and sign up for it. It's a terrific trip. And on SARL, Volunteers for Israel, see my article in the next to last issue of the Jewish Veteran. Third thing National Judge Advocate does, he can be a player nationally by being part of big-time litigation. This is visibility of the organization to the nation and sometimes to the world. In these 6 years, I've been involved in 3 War Memorial Cross cases, the transgender in the military case, the firing of a corrupt VA employee case, and a veterans benefit case. Sometimes the JWV position is on the opposite side of the major veterans groups, and it has to do it practically alone. 4, the National Judge Advocate can spread the message of the JWV nationally, particularly the message that Jews also served in the military. After all, the JWV's major purpose is, quote, affirmation of Jewish service in America's armed forces and all of America's conflicts. That's number 1 in the JWV membership application. Take the recent Bladensburg War Memorial Cross case, one which we could not win and one which the JWV never brought, nor would bring. However, we had to be heard, so we came in as an amicus, and I used the opportunity to spread the JWV message in our amicus brief in the SCOTUS blog and at the Honor Them All rally in Washington. Our message was quoted by Justice Kavanaugh in oral argument and is in several of the opinions. It would not surprise me that the message of Jewish involvement in America's wars has been read or heard by more people due to this case than by any other means in the history of JWV. I have an article on that case which will be in the next issue of the Jewish Veteran. And that's a good segue into the fifth way the National Judge Advocate helped, by writing articles in the Jewish Veteran. The National Judge Advocate educates the members on various issues that the NJA gets involved with. 6, the National Judge Advocate gets a chance to learn the inner workings of JWV National, which is great training for being National Commander. Just ask Alan Falk, or Dave Magidson, or Mike Berman, or Ainsley Furdy, or even me. And we'll see how the proposed new Vice Commander Amendment, if it passes, will mesh with this. But it's great training. And by inner workings, I also include working with the several delightful people at National, Herb Christie, Greg, Ben, Norm, and many others. And I look forward to working with them in a new capacity after this week. Okay, next. I'm also the chairman of the Constitutional and Bylaws Committee. And on Sunday afternoon, we had a great meeting for 2 hours, less a minute or two, twice the normal length of our usual meeting. It was necessary because we had 18 proposed amendments to discuss, some of which were very substantive and fundamental to the governing of this organization. 11 were constitutional and 7 were bylaws. Of the 15-member committee, 11 attended, even though for many there were meeting conflicts. And there was a full house of JWV members on the back benches. Now, 2 constitutional amendments were passed and are before you. The others were defeated. All were posted both online and on the doorways. And let me go over the first 2. And then I'll talk to you more about those that were defeated. The first is a change to the Constitution, Article 4, membership, Section 2, which adds U.S. Public Health Service and NOAA, not NOAH as I would pronounce it, but the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, to the definition of active membership. It was proposed by Membership Chairman Barry Lashinsky of Massachusetts. The second is an amendment to Article 6, Section 1, which adds the position of National Vice Commander to the elected officer list. This National Vice Commander, according to the proposed amendment, must be of a different department than the National Commander. It was submitted in different forms by both Scott Stevens of Taylor and Sheldon Goldberg of Maryland, and has been, through the discussion, has been modified and changed so that everybody on the committee agreed with it. This has been submitted actually in various forms over the years, and finally has got the support and consent of that committee. Now, as usual, the debate was civil, thoughtful, and robust. A variety of views were considered, and I want to thank members of the committee, Dave Magidson, Mike Berman, Jerry Blum, Max Colon, Warren Dolney, Alan Falk, Ainsley Furdy, Ed Goldwasser, Art Kaplan, Nelson Melitz, Norm Rosenshine, Jeff Sachs, and a newcomer, Mark Weiss, for their input and their thoughtfulness. So, I'd like to hear a motion from the proponent, Barry Lashinsky. There's Barry in the back there, on that First Amendment. Barry? Can you come up to the microphone so that everybody can hear? Because we want to have this to be absolutely accurate. That was my master's voice. Okay. Do I hear a second? Okay, can I have discussion on the motion? By the way, while David's going up there, this needs a 2/3 vote. And this is constitutional, yes. The two amendments that were passed by the committee were both constitutional amendments. For your information, you need a 2/3 vote on constitutional amendments and only a majority vote on bylaw amendments. Yes, please. Any discussion on them? Do you want to respond to that, Barry? Okay, any other discussion?
Thank you.
Not hearing any, I'm going to call for first a voice vote and then a raising of the hands vote. I want belt and suspenders on all this. All those in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Now, all those who are in favor, please raise your hands. Okay, put your hands down. All those opposed, raise your hands. Any abstentions? It passes unanimously. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
Okay, the second amendment has to do with a new vice commander. And I'd like to hear a motion from Scott. Is Scott here? Ah, there he is. From Scott on this. I ask for motions from the proponent of each proposed amendment.
I make a motion to accept the proposed amendment as written.
Thank you. Do I hear a second? Any discussion?
I'm sorry, having been judge advocate, I just need everybody to understand. I'm in favor of it, so don't misunderstand that. But there will be problems with this because it doesn't have the body of, for example, 1 year. It doesn't have a variety of other things. I'm in favor of it, but understand this time next year or the year after, we may have to add the things that we have for the national commander. But I'm certainly in favor of it. I just wanted to point out so everybody has a feel 2 years from now or a year from now when somebody argues about it, that we may have to amend that again to a degree, but I think it's an excellent idea. One of the questions, for example, is can an individual be a judge advocate and a vice commander at the same time? I mean, all these issues will come up. I just want you to understand that. But I'm in favor of it. Thank you. David Magidson, Post 244.
Please identify yourself.
Larry Shulman, Post 41. My question is, if the person is elected as vice commander, is it an automatic step to commander?
No.
So nothing is said in the items that you read concerning it.
Mark Weiss, Department of Michigan, Post 474. Just to clarify, this amendment was heavily modified in committee, and I think it requires a reading to specify what was actually changed in committee. It's not to be accepted as written.
Okay, there were two things that I recall As part of this, what was added of a different department. As originally proposed, it looked like it could be of the same department, vice commander and commander. That was changed to make the vice commander of a different department.
That
And
is
that's
correct. We
and-
also struck the line that said the vice commander will serve as chairman of the NEC. And further, we struck the line that said the national commanders and vice commanders shall serve no more than 2 consecutive years in their respective office.
That's correct. Thank you for that. Any more debate on? Not hearing any. All those in favor, voice vote, say aye. Aye. Opposed? I'm sorry, opposed? Abstains? Okay, now I want a raising of the hands. All those in favor? All those opposed? Any abstentions? It passes unanimously. Okay, that's all that I have, but if anybody wants to add anything there, feel free to do it.
My name is Art Kaplan, Post 256, Department of Taylor. As I understand that the other day, we eliminated, if I got any closer to it, I'd eat it. I understand in the past, recently, that the marketing committee has been disbanded. I'd like to reinstate the marketing committee because we have people that are interested in taking that task on.
Okay, so you are proposing that bylaws, you'll need a majority for this, Article 4, Section 10, entitled Committees and Commissions, have a new amendment, Section 10. There shall be established, typo there, there shall be established a National Marketing and Publicity Committee, which shall consist of 6 members appointed and a chairman by the national commander, each from a different department. Is that what you're proposing?
That's what I'm proposing.
Okay, do I hear a second on that? Okay. Can I have anybody want to speak for it? And it's my understanding in general that this particular change, amendment, is generally acceptable by everyone. But I wanted that to be clear to everyone. Go ahead.
I'm Howard Goldstein, Department Commander, Illinois, Post 54. As a person with a master's in marketing, former vice president of marketing of some major corporations, I thought it would be a good idea to say what marketing is in its broadest sense, in a generic sense, because some people seem to have a misunderstanding. It's finding people who want something, it's finding out what that something is, it's producing it, it's telling them it's available, it's persuading them to buy it, and it's delivering it a profit. We kind of work at the bottom level of that. We're trying to, not the profit part of it, but the persuading to buy it is what we're doing in membership. The telling it's available, we don't really do a real good job of that. We keep on saying we need it. The part that I think is missing from marketing the most, and the rabbi said it very well yesterday, what is our mission? Why should you join us? What is it that is going to drive them? There are different kinds of people who are approaching. That's what marketing is. I think we need to have a structure to actually implement this.
In 48 hours, you will be a member of that committee. Okay. All those in favor of this amendment say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Now I want a hand vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Raise your hands. Abstentions? Raise your hands. It passes. Commander, thank you very much.
Again, my thanks to our staff judge advocate for chairing that committee and all of the members of that committee, and certainly the body at large for handling this situation. Harvey, you took my agenda. No, that's a thing. There we go. Okay. All right, moving on in the agenda, the next thing was Korean War veterans. They said they have no report. Our next item on the agenda is National Achievement Award, past National Commander Jerry Blum and Jerry Alperstein.
Good morning, all. The senior committee member, Jerry Alperstein, will read the award winners. But before he does, I just want to thank the members of the committee, and that would be Jerry Alperstein, Edward Barral, Sheila Berg, Robert Jacobs, Stephen Krant, and Matthew Millen. So we all worked very hard on this, and I think you'll be proud of the winners. Thank you. Jerry?
We had 6 entries for the Edith Lewis and Max S. Memorial Athletic Award. The winner was Anya Hirschfeld of Seattle, Washington. She was nominated by the Department of Massachusetts, and she will be attending Dartmouth College. We had 15 entries for the education grants, of which there were 2 awards available. And the Clifford Lee Crystal Education Grant is awarded to Gilbert Rosenthal of Canton, Massachusetts, who will be attending, I think I have the wrong information here, he will be attending the University of Chicago, that's right, and he was nominated by the Department of Massachusetts. And the Bernard Rothberg Memorial Grant goes to Zachary Teplin of Mequon, Wisconsin, nominated by the Department of Wisconsin, and will be attending Stanford University. In the essay competition for yes. Oh yes. The Millen Award is for $1,500. The Crystal Grant is for $1,250, and the Rothberg Grant is for $1,000. The essay competition for current active duty and veterans, there were 12 entries, and we had 5 awards. I'm not going to give you the names of the people because they're not members of the Jewish War Veterans or anything like that. But the awards range from $5,000 to $1,000, and the committee awarded the 5 grants.
Thank you. It's always good to recognize people. I'm going to take just a moment of personal privilege here, and I'd like to invite Christy Turner up to the bema, please. Those of you who know Christy, and that's everybody, understand how hard she works. And as national commander, she has been absolutely invaluable to me. I don't know if I could have ever kept track of my schedule the way she did. And whenever I had a question on anything, Christy was there to answer that question. And she I just can't say enough about her. She was just absolutely essential to my term of office. So as a thank you, Christy, I have a little plaque for your desk that says, Christy, thanks for making my year exceptional. Dr. Barry Schneider, National Again, this is not a one-person job, and you've heard me bitch a lot between NEC and this meeting, and certainly there are things that we all agree with and disagree with. But regardless of that, there are other people who are extremely important to my reign of terror up here. And at this time, I'd like to ask Norm to come forward. Greta is not here. She's in a different place. And so I have a little thing for you, Norm, and for Greta that says thank you for your confidentiality, your continual confidence, guidance, and friendship. Barry Schneider, National
Credit friendship. If you had to put up with me.
Well, yeah, we all have to put up with you. Okay, moving on. Awards Committee, Jeff Sachs. Jeff, are you here?
Can you hear me now? My pleasure to be the chairman of the awards committee again this year. I'm Jeff Sachs from the Department of Illinois. First, I'd like to thank the members of my committee because they have to work quickly, and it's a hard thing to get it done. Let me tell you, we have a lot of stuff to work through. Sid Lichter, my vice chairman, thank you. Bob Jacobs from New Jersey. Arthur Kaplan from Talo. Richard Rosenzweig from Florida. Mark Weiss from Michigan, David Swearin from New York, Howard Goldstein and Robert Nussbaum from Illinois. Alan Paley helped me also. IT, I had Mike London helping and Robert Max, the IT chairman. On personnel, membership, Barry Lashinsky, he'll be coming up to present that, so will Robert Max. VAVS, Ken Ashworth. And on the national headquarters staff, this wouldn't happen if it wasn't for Harrison, Ben, and Christie. Okay, so thank you all. Now, let me get to the heart of this, the awards. This is what you want to hear. The first award, the President T. Rockman Award, Post 256, Talo. The second award, we did an award this year. Nobody applied for the Ben Kaufman Award. Take a look at the awards guidelines, and for the awards that don't get submitted, think about maybe putting in a submission from your department or post next year. On the Wolfson Award, we had a tie between Post 256 and Post 757, both of the Department of Talo. So give them a hand. On award number 4, the National Commanders Award, Post 1, Department of New York. Award number 5, there was no submissions. Award number 6, the Joseph Demiani Memorial Award, NASA Suffolk District Council, Department of New York. Post 9/11 Veteran Support Award, that's the award number 7. Post number 1, Department of New York. Now, we know we need membership, and we have a Recruiter of the Year award. Now, you got to kind of pat yourself on the back and apply, but nobody did. So none submitted. Next time, if you're pulling in people, get some recognition. The Edward Blatt Award, spelled B-L-A-T-T, for those people that submit this. Post 126, Department of New Jersey. Number 10, the Brenner Award, Brenner Jaffe Memorial Awards. This is for the best publication. This is always contentious, okay? But we had two excellent submissions for the, the best monthly publication, and we decided it was a tie between them. Post 256, Department of Talo, Post 210, Department of the Southwest. Now, we also have an award for the quarterly publication, but since there wasn't any quarterly publication that was submitted for this, we picked the Beacon from the Department of New York, which is a biannual, and it's an excellent paper. So you won the best biannual publication. For IT, I'm going to call Robert Max up to announce the best Facebook and best website.
Thank you. Okay, so we have two awards for online presence. One is a website and the other is Facebook. What we did was we said, if I look at your site, can I figure out how to get a hold of you? Are you active? Do you have things for me to do? And we awarded the Department of Michigan for the best website. Good job, guys. Facebook. Is it active? Does it have some great content? Does it show you how to get in touch with them? Once again, Dallas, Post 256, Taylor. Thank you very much.
Okay, and let's backtrack a little bit to number 11, the Outstanding Email Newsletter Award. And that was the Martin Hochester Post number 755 out of Fort Worth, Texas, Department of Talo. Now, we all know this organization needs membership. Barry, are you here? Okay, I see you. He's going to be giving out the awards for the best post growth. Our membership chairman, Barry Lashinsky.
Thank you. We have 4 categories. First category is the small post, and the configuration of a small post is 4 to 15 members, and the winner of the department is Ohio, the Akron Post 62, Colin J. Wolf Post. And so, and it looks like there's a tie in that as well. The second post that should be recognized is from the Department of Virginia in North Carolina, and it is the Colin J. Wolf Post 95. The next category is a medium-sized post ranging from 16 to 30 members. And the winner of that is in the Department of Florida. It is the Venice Post 941. The next category is large, and they come out of the Department of Illinois. It's the North Shore Post 29. And the final category is called the Bountiful, and they're 51 plus members. And it comes out of the Department of Pennsylvania. It's the Dresden-Weissen Post 215.
Okay, thank you. We have a couple more awards. Bear with me. How did I miss VABS? Okay. Number 14, that's the VABS award. That's the L. Berger Award with over 4,155 hours of service to the veterans. It's Department of Talo. Now we have the Museum Awards. This is a new award. It's the Roberts Wyman Museum Awards for the posts and the departments with the most membership. This was provided to us by the museum. The post with the greatest number of museum members is the Milton L. Fennell post number 389 out of Brooklyn. Good work, guys. The post with the highest percentage of museum members, because you might be smaller than that post in New York, is the Bernard and Sanford Wilkoff post number 73 out of Ohio, tied with the William Cretchford post number 730 out of Florida, with 27% of their post members as members of the museum. Excellent job. The department with the greatest number of museum members, Department of New York. Big department, a lot of members. And the department with the highest percentage of museum members, surprisingly, the Department of Ohio. Good work there also. Now you bear with me for a minute, because my mentor, David Himes, at 101 couldn't make this convention. And he wanted to present a check to JWV. Half of it is going to the JWV to spend any way they want. The other half for our 125th, birthday. He wants to wish us all well. He wants to accept the guilt. Good man. Okay, thank you all.
Okay, our next item on the business is the membership awards. We've already done that, so we got a little out of order. Wow. Just a couple of announcements. The photos for the national award winners will be this afternoon at 3:30 by the piano out there by James River B. All national award submissions may now be picked up in the office. Please pick up your stuff, otherwise it'll either get trashed or it'll have to go back to national. And it's a good thing to have, and it makes submissions easier for next year if you have a guideline, so I strongly suggest that. The last item that I want to mention is we're going to go into recess until tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, and our guest speaker tomorrow is Jack Dertiel. Jack is currently the president of the Military Coalition, and he's also the National Executive Director of the Army Warrant Officer Association. You've read his article in The Last Veteran, and if you think that was good, wait till you hear him. So please be here. It's going to be a really, really good presentation. So, yeah, he came on the Allied mission, and just to kind of pat Talo on the back again, he's a patron of Post 755 in Fort Worth. Yes, sir.
Point of order, I have two resolutions to present to the floor. Can I do that now, or do you want me to do it the third business session?
Harvey, press on.
Thank you. So I passed these out yesterday. If someone doesn't have a copy, I have more again. First resolution is a resolution that asks that the Veterans Administration allow veteran service organizations to have their meetings on VA property. So I move that we accept this resolution. Any discussion? I passed them out. Do you want me to read it?
Yes. Sorry to do all this, but after being judge advocate many years ago for 6, and having talked to all the judge advocates before me, I just need dot I's and cross T's for this organization, as you can see. And I'm in favor of it again. My question is, assume the VA, because we heard somebody at the VA saying they couldn't do it. I'm sorry. We heard somebody from the VA saying they couldn't do it. So can we amend it to ask Congress to allow? Or do you want just the VA or Congress and the VA? That's my only point. And it's up to you. I'll vote for it. But I'm just saying, you want to amend it so that we ask Congress to allow or not. It's your call. Maker of the motion. I'm just asking.
I don't think we're ready to ask Congress to pass a bill on this yet, because I've spoken to people at other departments who say that they meet at Veterans Administration hospitals. This is just one rogue administrator that is on an ego trip. That's pretty much what it is.
Mr. Commander, I rise against it, and it's a very simple administrative reason. We had a deadline. I understand that this arose afterwards, that it came out during the presentation of the General Counsel. But administratively, what we're doing is opening the door for every department to come forward without having the resolutions vetted. The 17 or 16 resolutions that were passed, each had been vetted carefully over the course of several weeks. And to have it come up, we're inviting those to again come forward and say, oh, I have an emergency. For those historically, we did that once several years ago. There was an emergent that had to get heard on the floor. It was heard on the floor. It came back to national staff, and once we had a chance to vet it, we found that there was no emergency. In fact, the facts underneath it were incorrect. And luckily, we caught it at the national level before we published it online, or else we would have been really looking silly. And that's why we have the 30-day notice to protect the organization. Therefore, I must speak against any resolution, not that generally this one, but any resolution that does not go through the normal process. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, would you please come up to the podium? Since you are the resolution chairman, committee chairman, I'd like you to go ahead and take over this part. Commander?
Yes, past National Commander Ed Goldwasser, Post 425, Spring Valley, New York. I get up to really speak against the resolution for a specific reason. That I know my department does meet in the VA hospital. Our counties meet in the VA hospital. And I think passing a resolution like this can be backfire where there's a situation in California that might not be acceptable. It might adversely affect other departments. And without really giving this, and we did hear the Secretary speak at our opening session, to go ahead and pass a resolution like this, making it mandatory, I think can backfire on us. And for that reason, I am opposed to the resolution.
Without, Jerry Alperstein, Post 1, New York, without referring to the substance of the resolution, I want to address Mr. Berman's comment. We have rules, and that's what, is it within the rules of this organization for someone to bring a resolution from the floor without going through the committee?
My answer, and I'm sure I will be challenged by the next speaker, is no, the resolution that does not come through committee is out of order.
Right? Yeah.
It's just the rules. No, I'm saying, we adopted rules. Rules say everything has to go through the resolutions committee, but with a caveat, so that anybody here can raise a resolution with the permission of the national commander. The national commander, we said, when I told you, is in charge. The rules allow that. So, for example, somebody has a dire, everybody here has an equal voice. And if at the last minute they want to raise it, but the proper procedure ordinarily is to go through the committee, etc. But this is allowed, and it's my understanding that the national commander has allowed that. That's
your answer. Okay. My suggestion is that based on what past National Commander Magidson just said, in the future, maybe, Mike, you should seek a change in the convention rules that would not permit this. But if it is permitted under the rules, it should go forward.
Thank you for your advice. Hearing no further discussion, we will be moving the first resolution which is to address the fact that at the, where is it, the Greater Los Angeles Veterans Administration, and I'm not sure it's correct, and someone please correct me on the recollection of the General Counsel's presentation. The General Counsel, I believe, said that would be spread across to all VA facilities. Is that correct? Yes. So it's not that the former director of the VA at Greater Los Angeles, it is that the General Counsel promulgated rules that no veteran service organization can meet in any VA facility. And that correction, I believe, needs to be noted. Is that, if we have some readback or some advice up here, please, from others. That was what was said, is the General Counsel had said that no veteran service organization may meet in any.
No, it wasn't General Counsel, it was the Executive Director of the Los Angeles Grid.
No. If you, on the floor here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
On the floor, no, Jerry.
No,
Jerry
he's allowing-
doesn't require your comments. Thank you.
No, it's not a comment. No, what he said, there is no statutory authority concerning meetings.
And
he was
therefore-
leaving it to
Excuse me,
the site directors.
Excuse me. Comrades. Remember, it's my session, my rules. There'll be no cross discussion and no hostility exhibited. Therefore, this will need to be corrected to read that the General Counsel, who is also acting under Secretary for whatever, has told us point blank that no veteran service organization may meet in any VA facility. That's what he said. There's no statutory.
That's not.
No, my
First of all-
problem, excuse me. My problem is not, my problem is this is specific to the Greater Los Angeles, and in fact, it will need to be rewritten to read to any VA facility. Okay?
Okay.
Because this is site-specific, and in fact, we understand that this is a caveat to all VA facilities, whether in Greater Los Angeles or in the Bronx, New York. It's not going to, believe me, the rewriter will rewrite it.
First of all,
Thank you. There's no need. All those in favor? Opposed? Let's have a hand vote, please. Those in favor of the, with the amendment or with the correction to read that it is a ruling by the General Counsel that no veterans may.
He's not the General Counsel anymore. He's the acting director. He's the former General Counsel.
No.
So,
look
yes.
at his bio. It says General Counsel serving at, or acting as. We don't. By the time it gets rewritten, it will be clean.
I want it clean, but I just want us to say in this title that we're going against.
Thank you.
Just against the idea of November, saying that we listen to him is not helping our cause.
Right. Correct. I'm opposed to your amendment.
Thank you. Doesn't matter. What's the floor want? Again, this is how it's going to read, basically, whereas.
No, I'm going to withdraw this. you're,
All right.
you're screwing it around. I'm going to withdraw it.
Withdrawn. Do you understand why we don't want it specifically to LA?
It isn't specifically to LA. The wherefore is for every place. The whereas it came up in LA. The wherefore is for every
The
place.
former director of the Greater Los Angeles Veterans Administration promulgated a rule that no VSO can meet in any veterans facility in the Greater Los Angeles is,
Site
again,
specific.
too specific. Why? Again, we can do it in such a fashion is that we ask the VA to allow all veteran service organizations to meet in the VA facilities and put it into the positive.
That's what the therefore says. The therefore is not site specific.
We will clean it up.
Okay. I'll leave it on the. I'll ask it to
leave
be
it up to
continued to
staff.
the next meeting and work on it in between.
Yeah, we will work on it so that the answer is, Warren, 1 second. Matt, can you get the microphone to Warren?
No, it's in
Warren,
the floor.
back up.
It's taped down.
No, he's going to back up.
Oh.
Watch for your toes, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. In general, I agree with what we're trying to accomplish, except that we're not considering what Ed Goldwasser said a few moments earlier. If we do anything about either passing it or rejecting it, we're bringing it onto the floor and we're making an issue of it. In New York, we don't have the problem. Elsewhere, I don't know whether they have the problem or not. But if they don't have the problem, why make a problem? I would suggest that we delete the entire amendment, the entire proposal.
Okay. Yeah, again, we will try to do it in a positive statement that we ask the VA to open their doors to all VSOs to be able to meet in such a fashion that it is not specific to LA or not specific to the Bronx where they do meet in a VA facility, and other states and other areas where they do. Brooklyn also, etc. So we don't want it to be that, oh, by the way, we're raising a flag, now shoot at us. We want it to be, yeah, we'd like you to extend a courtesy to the VSOs.
Okay. No objection
Okay.
to continue.
With that caveat, those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes. It will be cleaned up, and if you'll give staff your information, we'll run it past you before we do anything.
Okay. Fine.
Next.
The second one is the California legislature passed a bill asking the State Department of Education to come up with an ethnic studies model curriculum. That curriculum was determined by the Jewish caucus of the California legislature to be anti-Jewish. The caucus wrote a letter to the California Department of Education asking them to withdraw what they've previously submitted and come back with one that is more positive and acceptable. So this resolution is in support of the Jewish caucus position on ethnic studies in California.
Question then to the maker of the motion. Has the Department of Education in California responded to the letter from the legislators?
Yeah, they said they would change it, but they haven't come back with anything new yet, so I don't know if they're going to tweak it or not. But this is putting the Jewish war veterans on record of supporting the Jewish caucus in California. That's what we're doing. It just says, please support it. It doesn't say how they should change it. It just says, we support the legislative caucus position that the initial proposed ethnic studies was unacceptable.
Next speaker. Excuse me, comrades.
I'll check to see what I can find.
Thank you.
Right.
No, we have it apparently at staff. We'll get it. Next speaker.
Scott Wilson, Commander, Department of Florida, Post 639, Brevard County. I'm definitely in favor of it, but I think that if we're going to do something like this, we need to not be centric to just California, but we need to bring it all over the United States. In my county, they're teaching Islam. They're not teaching Christianity. They're not teaching Judaism. They're not teaching any other religion. But they're taking a 4-week block of Islam. They're actually taking maths. They're making the children, whether they have an excuse from their parents or anything else, and bringing them down and making them kneel and pray and everything else. That's Brevard County, Florida.
Can you please get us more information?
Yes, I will. But I'm just saying, so we need to be able to be all over the country, not just California. We are the Jewish War Veterans of the USA. So anything we do, we need to really make it of the USA, and that's for any motion that we do.
I appreciate the comment. Next speaker, please.
I just have a question.
Sheila
Sheila Berg, Post 239, Commander. In terms of ethnic studies, I just want a clarification from that. Do we mean just Holocaust studies, or could someone clarify that? For example, in Pennsylvania, it is required that they have Holocaust studies. So I just need, are we just talking Holocaust, or I don't know what ethnic means. I mean, in terms of that. That's very broad.
Thank you.
To answer her, my understanding is that the bill had to do with ethnic studies for different ethnicities in the state of California, and the one that was applied to the Jewish ethnic studies, the caucus considered anti-Jewish. I'm not going to repeat it all. It lays out in their letter exactly what they thought was wrong with it. But there was ethnic studies for Asians, Latinos,
Matt,
it was everything.
Please. Next speaker.
Alan Falk, past National Commander. I'm trying to follow what's going on and try and get some reasonable understanding of these positions. And I don't know why they're here when we have the Resolutions Committee and we have the opportunity to go through these things. If it's an emergency situation that has come up since then and we don't have any other procedure, I can understand it. But for all these different positions of what's happening here and there, we now have to jump on and make a resolution against it. I'm opposed. I don't want to vote for any of that.
All right. And we do, the problem is, comrades, that as we hear, that curriculum may have been scrapped, which is, again, why we ask that you submit the resolutions a month ahead of time, just to avoid this possibility. Please, I see two people approaching the microphone.
Because Sheldon says something, basically always been the way it is. Mike says something, I don't want to get into dispute over what it is. So let me just move to table at this particular point. David Maggis.
There's a motion to table. Is there a second? Second. There's a second to the motion. It's non-debatable. Motions to table. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? The motion is tabled. I thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Commander, again. It's always a pleasure to serve as Resolutions Chairman. I feel sometimes like I'm a dart boy.
Maybe it's a good thing you're wearing stripes and not circles.
That's it. They're aiming here, not here.
Thank you, Michael. As always, a wonderful job. Okay, there being no further business, I want to remind everybody before we close the altar that Minyan tomorrow morning is at 8 o'clock. It is Thursday, so we read Torah. So please, let's try to make sure that we have a Minyan. Rabbi Zimmelman, you're leading services tomorrow morning? Okay, stand up so everybody can see you. I don't know a single rabbi that doesn't want to have a service without a minion, so be there. Okay. Officer of the day. Oh, we had something else? Oh, okay. Officer of the day, would you please pose the altar? We stand in recess until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Have a good afternoon.
So much. I am